they don't have mature institutions. And I think really the idea is to try and create a completely new and different way of doing things in these emerging areas. In terms of managing water, I think, everybody's talking about security through diversity. And what we need to try and do is to diversify our water sources and to try and have a cascade of uses. So try and, different strokes for different folks. Try and use specific qualities of water for specific uses, and then try and recycle that water so that we can use it for less important uses. So I think there are two things. One thing is to be optimistic and say, let's try and do things differently in these new emerging towns and cities, so we use water much more sensibly and more rationally. And secondly, try and rethink the way in which we use water currently, and try and do much more with this very limited and valuable resource.
Thank you. No one would like to contribute?
Okay, we have run a session on Tuesday on water management beyond 2020 in a changing world. So this question we looked into for about 4 hours. First of all, drivers. What are the drivers? The two big suspects is the climate change and the population increase. But additionally, for example, the population in 20 years' time will be more than half old people, the old people. So this will affect some of the things we have. There's a migration. There's a large migration. 40% of the population is living in the seaside and densely populated deltas. This population is increasing. For example, in Spain, the inland Spain is almost empty, but the south coast is full of population, and Spain is trying to move the whole river 1,000 kilometers from north to the south. So these are some of the drivers. In Africa, the Minister Konga of Zambia stated that HIV/AIDS will make a difference because it can kill millions of people in Africa in the future. That will be another driver which will do. So I can continue, but I will not do it. What is the solution? Solution, for example, in water supply, desalination is an option because 40% of the world's population is living near the sea. If the energy cost comes down, we can meet their needs with the desalinated water. This is technology, influence of technology. In addition to that, as you know, 80% of the agriculture is rain-fed. Only 20% is irrigated. So in rain-fed irrigation, you can make a little bit more supply, and then you can make it work much better. So also, as we discussed, the technology in the irrigated areas can go into the trickle and the sprinkler system, which costs more, but we can bring up to 40% reduction. As a conclusion, we decided water is manageable with good governance. Water will not be a problem if there is good governance and the finance. But on the other side, energy is more of a problem, because if you have cheap energy, you can have water. If you don't have cheap energy, it's not going to work. Of course, here, add to that almost 1 billion people in the world is earning less than $1. So there we have to build the ability to afford, affordability. Thank you.
Thank you. But don't forget about one important thing. Can we have this on? The 80% of the unfrozen water is under the ground. Groundwater management offers an excellent response option to these things. But groundwater is extremely vulnerable. Once it's polluted almost forever, if not for thousands of years. So this we have to work out in the coming years. I hope that, and also, let me just refer to what Professor Artemilek has mentioned, the food security issue for the 3 billion human beings who are still coming. And it's unstoppable. You just can't stop it. 1950, we're going to be I will be 6 feet below, but there will be 9 billion human beings here who have to be fed. And then rain-fed agriculture is simply not able to do that. We need to invest into irrigation systems. We need to invest into reservoir systems. Otherwise, there's going to be famine of unseen dimensions. I hope the day is not far that our friends who are walking out there and they are shouting very nicely and loudly, no more dams, no more dams, will come and have a dialogue with us, because that's the purpose of this forum, to discuss the matters. What are really the issues? And it's an ethical, if not moral, dimension. Lydia, please go.
To talk now, but I think we are missing a big point here. We are forgetting that the way water will be managed in 40 years will depend on what we do as educators. And we are forgetting, it's not clearly about technology or how many, or it's really can we come with responsible, proactive, ethical citizens that will manage this problem better than we are doing today. And I think this is the whole point of this panel, is really how can we get strong research, scientific data, we can inform education, we can inform capacity development programs to really change behaviors, transforming lifestyle attitudes. And I think that was the point that was raised related to the increase of demographics, is that really it's part of education to change this trend. Necessary pressure in already a situation that we are stretched. Thanks.
It comes to MDG. Remember, over the past 5 days, to reach the Millennium Development Goals in water, the water supply and sanitation goal, to halve the number of those human beings who have no access to safe drinking water and safe sanitation. Everybody talked about money, 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 how much we need. Assume that we had the money, which we don't. The question is, who is going to implement the projects that we need to the eradication of that unbearable, immoral situation what we have, for instance, now in sub-Saharan Africa? Early estimates suggest that in order to achieve the Millennium Development Goals in water and sanitation, alone in Africa, we need to increase the number of water professionals by 300%. In Southeast Asia by 250%. In Latin America by 50%. This is a huge number we are talking about. This is where we need to invest. Look at Asia. 60% of the world population lives in Asia with 36% of the water resources. That is going to be a major source of issues and problems, where I think early on we need to invest into education programs. Richard and then elephant and I disappear. Richard.
Maybe just a small addition for science and technology. I think that maybe for the next time, the clean technologies should be discussed more. Which the technologies using less water, which the technologies producing less waste water for the production sector or wastewater treatment sector. Maybe next time, these clean technologies, because they are compact, you know, they are intensified, and they're actually called innovative technologies. So under this title should be discussed more, I think. Just small.